What's going on? It's your boy Player X here with the Semi-Limited Podcast, and I went to the sneak peek event at our locals yesterday, and we got first place with none other than Pure Orcust. I've been labbing his deck for a while. I was waiting very patiently for these new cards to come out, and boy are they extraordinarily good. So I'm going to give you guys a quick deck profile. As you can see, we won the mat. We took it down. But before we get into the deck profile, quick shout outs to EnergyDrinkCity.com for sponsoring this deck profile. So be sure to go to EnergyDrinkCity.com and use promo code PlayerX for 10% off your order, all right? And let's get into this deck profile. Starting off with the Orcust cards, we have 3 Girsu. Girsu is obviously the best starter that you have. Obviously, every Orcust card is full combo technically by itself with the new Link 1, but this is actually way better because it gets you the dump as well as the bodies on board to make the links, so you just get a little bit of a better end board. It does kind of suck all the interaction, like all the imperms, veilers, ashes do get kind of hit towards this, although they should be ashing harp if they're smart. But you definitely want to make sure that this card resolves. If it resolves, you're in a good spot. You don't really play about much other things. But right beside that, we have 3 Harp Horror. Honestly, like I said, with every card being a 1-card starter, you want the best one card, which is Harp Horror, to special from the deck, especially if it goes uninterrupted. You want to play it at 3 just because you want to see some sort of Orcust monster. I guess all of them are good, but this is the worst of them. Most people play 3 symbol. I'm only playing 2 because the combo that you end on with just having symbol skeleton and no other card isn't as good, I think, as the end board when you actually have one. So instead of just seeing any old name, I'd rather have a better board. So I only play 2 just as extenders to bring the Dingirsu or the Galatea out. And then I keep it at that with the 1 Nightmare. Some people can play 2, especially if you're playing Pure. I can understand 2, but just 1 is fine. If it gets banished, you can always World Wand it back or add it back to the deck with any of the extra deck monsters, so you don't really miss it too much. And it only sends World Wand and another card that you'll see as well. So speaking of, you play the 1 World Wand and the 1 Crown for the World Legacy cards. This one is searchable off of the Link 1 as well as the wand. You don't really necessarily search this unless it's on your opponent's turn. You will pitch this or search it to get it out of your hand just so you can special this summon this from your hand. This is a crack card. I do like it as an end board piece. It's a good extender. You don't necessarily have to play it in Pure. You kind of do because you need that extra piece on top. But if you're playing just a regular Orcust engine, you don't necessarily have to play it. It is just good to search out. It does add a nice little air with a negate for an extra deck monster, but it's not necessary to keep your plays going. And neither is this, but I really like it as well, which is the NT 8000. When this card is sent to the graveyard by anything other than the field, you can basically special summon it back to the field. And then it has a quick effect like DPE almost pop, where you can pop a face-up card your opponent controls and any card you control. And if this is linked, it can't be destroyed by battle, so you can bring this back linked to like a long Girsu or something. The long Girsu can't be destroyed by card effects while it's linked, so you can just activate Sirius, pop long Girsu, pop any other card, and then the long Girsu is going to protect itself. So it's really kind of good in that aspect. There's another disruptor and another end board piece to send off of Nightmare on your opponent's turn, or even just Foolish Burial if you didn't really need to. So really good card. I do like it. Play it as a 1-up though. We do have the 1-ups for the Orcust cards in the Babel and the Return. Obviously, you're searching Babel with the Link 1, and then that gives you more freedom with your Galatea to either set the Crescendo or the Return, if you already have Crescendo. Obviously, you play the 1 Foolish Burial to dump any of the Orcust names, just to kind of get your play started, or to add an extra piece or layer like the World Wand or Crown or Sirius on top. And then on top of that, you play the Foolish Burial Goods and then the 2 Orcust Crescendo. So that way, this is a pseudo starter. You can activate Foolish Burial Goods, send a Crescendo, banish Crescendo from your deck to add Girsu. So you'll add basically your starter off the rip. So it acts as another copy of itself. And then because it's banished, you can add it back with the Link 4. And that frees your Galatea to go for cards like Return instead. So really good card. But that's all the Orcust cards. So we'll get them out the way. And then for non-engine, we have 3 Foolos. You could play 3 Foolos, or if you don't have access to it, you could play any other Malatremi. I would play 2 more Perulia as well as the 3 Foolos in the main if I had Perulias, but unfortunately I had to let those go. But you can honestly play whatever Molotrumies you want. Meows is another good one because of just Malice and Mitsurugi coming back from the graveyard. But I just stuck with Fui in the main. You can play whatever you'd like as well. Just to help counter Mitsurugi as well, and to help stop the Fuis from hitting on your turn, you can draw and lock yourself. The only time we ever search in the deck is just a one-time off the link one to search for a Babble, so you're never really hurting yourself when you draw and lock yourself. But it really does stop your opponents from getting more draws off their Fu loss, from Mitsurugi from plussing and stuff like that, which is the same reason we play Ash as another hand disruptor, but as well as just to stop those Fu losses or Molotrumies in general. I always lose my die rolls, so I'm so used to going second. I just have an arsenal just ready for it, just in case I have to go first and have to get hit with those Molotrumies. We also played Triple DD Crow. You could technically play a Bestial package instead. I just didn't like that the Bestials only hit Light and Darks. Not that Light and Darks aren't prevalent, but this hits any card. You can hit like White Forest cards. You can hit the Mitsurugi spells when they're trying to add it back. You can hit basically another Malice name that's already been used when they're trying to extend. You can basically hit a bunch of different things, and it doesn't have to wait for your opponent to control a monster before it becomes quick effect. Like I said, you can make this a Magnemite, Juris Worm, and Baldric if you wanted to. I just liked or wanted to play Crow. It did do its thing when someone activates prayer and they tribute for cost, and because they don't have a monster, Crow is way better in that situation. That came up a couple times, so really good card. But like I said, you could replace it for anything else if you want. Triple Droplet in the main to send Orcust cards, as well as cards like NT 8000 and any other kind of bricks I might have in my hand. But you just want a board break if you're going second. I lose die rolls a lot, like I said, so I just wanted something that would be able to not only be good going first, but is going second as well, to kind of dump some cards into the grave and then play out the graveyard without using more cards from the hand as well. And then going along that, the last couple spells, we have the one Call by the Grave and then the one Talents. Really good cards. Call by just helping, again, against the Fool losses and just any other things that would really hurt you. Maybe like an Ash on a Harp Warrior or something like that. A Veiler on a Girsu. But for the most part, Talents is just crazy. If you get Fool loss and you play like minimal board, you can just put up the Crescendo and the Babble, and then Talents your opponent's hand, so it's to rip out one of the two that you just kind of gave them. And then at least in that aspect, you have a Crescendo, your Babble for Harp is live, and then you can play on your opponent's turn a little bit better. And then just to round off the deck, we have the 3 Imperm playing into the hand traps, and as well as 3 Impulse. Impulse was cracked. It's like a godsend card. It's pretty much a custom card. Yeah, you sometimes turn off your Fool losses and then your Drolls, but after it resolves, like, you're pretty much winning on the crackback, if not that turn. So you don't really necessarily care about that. Sometimes if I open multiple, I might set one and then try to activate it that way instead of playing it from the hand, but it's not very often, and I better have to open 2 to do something like that.
What's the total in the main?
Oh, that's a 41 main deck count. So we have those. Then we have the Field Center, because we're, Field Center Ricks. And then the 2 Girsu tokens that Girsu bring out. So you definitely got to get your hands on those. Good stuff. But for the extra deck, we play the 1 IP, the 1 Barricade Blocker, and then the 1 SP. We play IP just as an end board piece, but if you have to start with the Foolish Burial Goods line, you have to banish Crescendo to get started, you're locked into Dark Machines specifically. So instead of ending on the IP, you'll end on the Barricade Blocker with the link 4, just so that way you're able to still get the Girsu and the extra body of the token into the grave, but you're still able to, have something that you're able to make that, isn't non-locked. And then SP Little Knight as well, just for going into on your opponent's turn. I did have this as the new Gorgon Lithonia, whatever it is, that new Link 3 monster. I had to give it back. I was just borrowing it for the day. So this was in its place. So you could play the Unicorn as well, just something to go into on top of the SP, or even just because of the discard factor. Maybe you can help outlet another Orcust monster that you might have in your hand, just to kind of spin another card back. But this should be the Gorgon monster, the Link 3 from the Duelist Alliance set. Duelist Advanced, but I didn't make it. I had the option to make it once. I still chose to go into SP using the IP, and it won me the game, so I didn't necessarily need to make this, but it was also still good to have. I just thought more toolboxy would probably be better, but if you don't have access to the card, a Nightmare Unicorn will do just fine. We also brought back 2019 with the Boral Sword. I actually had to use this for game. You make Boral Sword and then slap a Dingirsu on the field. Boral Sword will swing over, gain attack, and lower their attack, as well as then your Dingirsu will swing, and then Boral Sword turns Dingirsu to defense to be able to swing again. And I just needed to get over a Chaos Angel that was basically super big. It was like 3,500, and it couldn't be affected by monster effects, so I just had to get over it in some way, shape, or form. So we brought it back with this. And then the last non-engine card for the links is the Closed Goddess. She basically was just there for like any towers desk. I know Luna Light's in the format. We got a lot of Pearly players. Just basically just in case they made a towers or something like that, you can't out or snatch steal. You just want to make sure that you have some sort of out. So you'll play on your opponent's turn, leave the bodies up, and then go straight into the Underworld Goddess on your turn if you are able to. Well, at least that was the theory behind it. And then going into the Orcust cards, you play one Galatea AI. It's really, really cracked. It's good. You don't really necessarily need to play more than two. If you're playing Pure, I can understand too, but if anything happens to this card, you have access to it regardless. If it's in the graveyard, it brings itself back. If it's banished, you can always add it back off Galatea or Enlongirsu. So it's really, really cool that you don't really have to play more than one, and it's just there when you need it. But it searches for Babel and or a World Legacy monster, which can be your World Crown to help put in a little end piece board, or your World Wand if you want to pitch later, just to kind of help extend that way as well. So a really good card, and the extension on it being quick effect is super cracked, especially for keeping Crescendo alive. And then you'll have two Galatea as well. Again, super cracked. With these two together, the problem used to be that this had to choose between grabbing Babel or grabbing Crescendo, but now because you have the link one, this is going to grab Babel always. This will always set Crescendo or Orchestrated Return if you already have it. So crack cards, you could play or get away with one. I just like two in Pure just to make sure I have them. And then we play the one Longirsu and then the one Enlongirsu. So Galatea can't be destroyed by battle when it's co-linked. This card can't be destroyed by card effects when it's co-linked. And then this card, when it is sent to the graveyard from the extra deck monster zone, during that turn, you can banish itself and then quick effect pop a card on the field. So really crazy as well, on top of the snatch steal effect that this has. It's really, really cracked. I do love this card. I think I made Longirsu once during the tournament with the NT7 underneath it. But I made this almost every single game. This card itself is cracked, being able to snatch stealing your opponent's turn, add your resources back from the banish to your hand, so you can add a starter like Girsu, or if it's like something like Nightmare, you can add it and then shuffle it away, or any other card in your hand to snatch steal is just completely busted. They have to get out this before they can really out Crescendo. So it's really, really cool. I like this card. It's a good addition. And on top of that, you play the two Dingirsus. You could get away with one. I played two in case anything happens to the first one. I don't feel like recycling the skeleton. I can always just slap it over any of these link monsters and then recycle that way as well. And then the last two cards of the extra deck, we play one Typhoon and then one Zeus. Typhoon is just in case I lost a die roll, had to go second. You can just slap it over anything, and except for the link one. You can't make it over Galley because it can't be used as XYZ material. It would be cracked otherwise. But you can slap it over any like Orcust monster, be able to detach, bounce a card, swing into another monster, and then on your opponent's turn or on your follow-up, you can still use the Orcust monster that you just detached. And then Zeus is just for when you make Dingirsu on your opponent's turn. It's kind of just sitting there. If you did attach, it has a material underneath it. And then you can go into your battle phase, swing into anything, and then make the Zeus over top of the Dingirsu, just to kind of put some pressure on or cut clear boards without having to pop. So it didn't really necessarily come up, but just in theory, I'd rather have it than, not have it. So that's the extra deck. And then just for the side deck real quick, it's based off whatever locals or whatever area you're around. My locals is very heavily with Malice, so we play the Chaos Hunters just because Bestials are around as well. I played the same Regenesis player twice, and throughout it he definitely had Bestials as well, so you want to make sure you stop the Druis Worms, the Magnamuts and stuff like that you're going to see. Lancia is prevalent. You could play Lancia. I just like how this is like a body on board as well as permanent, no banishing, and it also allows me to be able to banish as well because this only affects my opponent. It does play harder into things like Imperm, Droplets. I had a Cashier player XYZ into Big Eye and then take it. If you're playing a mirror match, your opponent can make a Dingirsu over a Galatea and then send it and then continue on. But it does, in theory, do its job on either disrupting your opponent or holding them at bay for you to get to your turn. So I really do like it. As well as other Floodgate cards, we have Deck Lockdown. This card was cracked all day long. Anytime I lost a game 1 and I had to go game 2, I cited these in and then instantaneously won game 2, like no questions asked. As soon as you already have Harp access and it's kind of like got you through your engine, you only play out the graveyard anyway. Symbol brings back from graveyard. Nightmare can send either the World Wand or it can send the NT 8000, which can come back from the graveyard. It's a lot of graveyard disruption or special summoning from the Banish Zone as well. So you don't really care about that, and it shuts down a lot of decks. I would highly recommend you play this card or at least side it. I almost wanted to main it, but... And then the one crossout designator is just for the Holy Trinity. I didn't really want to put it in the main because that would have to change the amount and types of hand traps that I wanted to play. You'd have to play like the Nibirus, I'd have to play the Veilers, you have to play the Bells just to kind of help counter that, and I didn't want to play all that, so I decided, all right, cool, if I see that they're multi-trending me a lot, I'll put it in, but I really didn't want to. So I'm glad I didn't put in those extra hand traps, and the one of was good as along with the thrust targets. So you have the thrust for going second, you put the Duster, the Lightning, and the Red Geki, as well as the evenly matched. And then for going first, I can put the 2 Dusters or thrusts in and then search for Eradicator. You end on the Dingirsu, activate Erad, tribute the Dingirsu, and then now you can rip spells or traps, and then your Dingirsu is automatically ready to come back because the art usually has the skeleton underneath it, so it's just like live ready to go. So the 2 thrusts and then the 1 virus would come in, and also going first, the last card in the side deck is this Anti-Spell Fragrance. Really good card. I didn't want to lose to blowout cards like Lightning Storm, Red Geki, Dark Ruler no more. I wanted to be able to apply pressure and make sure that my Crescendo and my board, my Babel were protected as long as it could be. If they set a bunch of cards in the end phase, you can always go SP Little Knight to banish one of the set cards, and then Dingirsu to send another one away, so you can apply pressure that way as well. But it was a fun deck overall. I did enjoy playing it. Like I said, 5 rounds of Swiss, and then we played in the top cut, and we got the match. So it was a fun time overall. I definitely enjoy playing Orcust, especially Pure. You could mix it with Mitsurugi or any other engine that you like, Horus or Bystials or whatever you like, but I just like the good old-fashioned vibe, and it just did me well. So appreciate you guys watching the deck profile, and once again, shout-outs to EnergyDrinkCity. Be sure to use that code PlayerX on your checkout to get 10% off your order, all right, guys? Shout-outs to you guys for checking it out, and thank you very much.